Professor Chomsky, you've almost entirely glossed over the numerous war crimes and violations of international law which have committed by Hamas, the ruling party in Gaza. These include this targeting of civilian populations by sending thousands of rockets into southern Israel, and Hamas's well-documented use of human shields by doing things like hiding their armaments in preschools, ambulances, and hospitals. I was wondering if you had a response to these crimes.
Yeah. As for the well-documented facts that you mentioned, the documentation is zero. The sole source for those claims is Israeli propaganda. Maybe it's true, maybe it isn't. It's hard to imagine where you could hide in Gaza or live in Gaza, except near a civilian target. Israel, of course, does it all the time. So if you ask where the Israeli military command is, yeah, it's right in the middle of the cities. Where are they going to put it? Sure, even though the documentation happens to be zero, not well documented, nevertheless it's almost certainly true. And it offers no justification whatsoever for destroying the universities, destroying the schools, mental health clinics, attacking hospitals, shooting at ambulances, all the other crimes that you can read about if you want to bother looking. And the crimes are really serious. So actually I brought with me a report, which I have not seen reported in the American press, from the, let's see if I can find it, from the Gaza water utility. This is January 10th, the press release. They describe, I won't bother reading it, but they essentially describe how hundreds of thousands of people in Gaza are without water because of Israeli attacks on water systems and also attacks on sewage systems and, in fact, power plants, which make anything run, so that one discharging pond is leading to a major catastrophe that threatens the lives of thousands of people just by drowning in sewage flooding. Well, okay, sure, some Israeli propagandists can tell you, yeah, there was a mortar hidden in the sewage system. Maybe there was. Does that have anything to do with these atrocities? Nothing, for very simple reasons, the ones I mentioned. There is a right to resort to violence in self-defense if there are no alternatives. And in this case, there are very clear alternatives. Stop the criminal activities and accept a peace treaty. Okay? Not very hard. Stop your crimes, and that'll end the rocketing that you're concerned with.
How would you respond to the charge that anti-Zionism is the new anti-Semitism?
Actually, the locus classicus, the best formulation of this, was by an ambassador to the United Nations, Abba Eban, Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, in an article that he wrote about 45 years ago, which I urge you to read, which appeared in an American Jewish journal, Congress Weekly, a major journal of the more liberal wing of the American Jewish community. He wrote an interesting article in which he was then UN ambassador from the State of Israel. He advised the American Jewish community that they had two tasks to perform. One task was to show that criticism of the policy, what he called anti-Zionism, that means actually criticisms of the policy of the State of Israel, were anti-Semitism. That's the first task. Second task, if the criticism was made by Jews, their task was to show that it's neurotic self-hatred, needs psychiatric treatment. And he gave two examples of the latter category. One was I.F. Stone, the other was me. So we have to be treated for our psychiatric disorders, and non-Jews have to be condemned for anti-Semitism if they're critical of the State of Israel. It's understandable why Israeli propaganda would take this position. I don't particularly blame Abba Eban for doing what ambassadors are sometimes supposed to do, but we ought to understand it. There is no sensible charge. No sensible charge. There's nothing to respond to. It's not a form of anti-Semitism. It's simply criticism of the criminal actions of a state. Period.
When I was was the rabbi of the Jewish community in Berlin under the Hitler regime. I learned many things. The most important thing that I learned in my life, and under those tragic circumstances, is that bigotry and hatred are not the most urgent problems. The most urgent, the most disgraceful, the most shameful, and the most tragic problem is silence. A great people which had created a great civilization had become a nation of silent onlookers. They remained silent in the face of hate, in the face of brutality, and in the face of mass murder. America must not become a nation of onlookers.
The UN concluded this week that Israel committed genocide in Gaza. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I haven't seen that. I'm looking at it, but did anybody commit genocide on October 7th? What do you think about that? That was genocide at the highest level. That was murder, genocide, you can call it whatever you want. But little babies were chopped in half.
And in Gaza?
Arms were cut off people, heads were cut off people. That's genocide. That's genocide also, I guess. Right?
What do you think?